Welcome to the Tara Show. Okay, my last video cut short at the end, so we will now begin. So as you all know, we did a little research and we are basically going to be Googling each and every one of the motherfuckers that divided our land. Because last time I checked, we were a world. And some dude come in here and he say, "Oh, I had to draw a squiggly shape. Ah, Florida." Whoa, what? Wait, what? Who drew on my picture if you were a world owner? Who the? I'm getting pissed. Who drew? Okay, I'm just so upset because did they even ask permission to draw on the world? Who made you so fucking important that you decided you're an American, you're a black, you're a native? I like natives, and I've been native. I was native for 8 years when my boyfriend was doing it with me. I've also been Mexican. They have great food. The Muslims are amazing. They told me, "Miss Dana, you would die in my country, you act like that." I said, "Shit. Well, how would I live?" They said, "Only a woman who is educated live in my country, Miss Dana." I said, "Well, it's a good thing I'm your teacher." So Ronald Reagan has decided apparently that everybody's an American. Okay, Hitler. Fucking dweebs, man. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're no longer gonna worry about everything that's bad. Because there's too much bad. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, the governmental..." You're like, They're sober people, guys. Don't mess with a sober person without any charges. They can pass a background check and they can pass a drug check. Don't bother with them. They literally think they're so smart, but have the least clue. In my opinion. You don't know shit about what the fuck is going on in this world out here. You don't. You absolutely don't. There's no fucking way you do. Because I've been on both sides. I was a preppy little motherfucker, and I was actually born from a cook. And I cooked. Since I was little. When I was a little girl, we had to cook. Pasta in the kitchen. And I would just draw flowers all the time. And I would just draw flowers, and I would just do my job. Do my job. So, basically, the point here, guys, is that many people are just being themselves. They're living off of what they know. All they know. And we don't know that. I didn't know that. All that you know when you're growing up in an environment that feels weird is that you feel like you label it as, "I just don't feel good today." Maybe you're having a bad day. I mean, between your elders while we're young telling you straight up, what you are and what the world is and how things are and what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. It's it's a whole control thing for 18 years. You have to go to school. You have to come home. You have to do chores. You're regulated. You are 100% regulated, and you are basically adapting or an extension of most of the time, a parent or both parents' lack of or needs, unfortunately. And even if you're not, I've seen a lot of very successful parents and their children are ungrateful. And I know that for a fact because I have 2 city kids and I have 2 country kids. They're very, 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 very different. My city kids know they can order whatever they want. My country kids ask for books on Christmas. They're the sweetest, most kindest, gratefulest people ever. They don't ask for nothing, bro. Nothing. They're so sweet. It's touching. But then there's the ones that I raised. I raised my oldest and my youngest, and my mom raised my twins. Very, very, very different. And it's hit or miss for everybody. You'd really just, it's time that everybody just stops thinking this is how it should be. What is that for you? How is what it should be like? What is that for you? Who are you speaking for? when you say those words, guys. Who told you how it should be? Where, like really think about it. Like, where did you get this how it should be? Did you decide that this is how it should be based off of like something not working out, or maybe something was very successful and you're like, oh no, this works every time? Or were you like, I'm never falling in love again because I get hurt every time? Were you like, I hate women or I hate men right from the get-go because you had an absent parent? Also, I've seen this happen. The parent that basically has more of a closer relationship with the child during divorce or separation will sometimes that other parent will slander the other parent to the child. Let's just say in the event where somebody would cheat and they would be like, your mom cheated, she's a fucking this or that. So now you're literally programming into your undeveloped child's head that women or men are actually no good. And then later on, just even a couple years down the road, the person who programs this person will say things like, yeah, they don't believe in relationship. They think women are pieces of shit. That's how they've always been. That's how they are. That's how they feel about women. That's what they think. No. So now you got two dumb people in the room. People don't just come up with that stuff. You're born innocent. You're born a blank book, bitch. You're born into an environment where two people, just like how we were two young parents at one time, we were unable to give our oldest child a lot of the times the same thing that we are giving our youngest child. Very different approach to parenting, because nobody teaches us things like you're not supposed to actually even be a parent until you're 26 to 30 years old, because your brain actually has not developed yet. I was 18 when I had Skylar. So almost a decade earlier, I forced my young adult body to basically birth a child before my brain could even actually fathom what that meant. Nobody told me this. I figured this out through research down the road, literally within the last year or two. Not one of my counselors told me this. Not one of my drug treatment centers told me this. Nobody told me the facts that I'm teaching you, and when they are responsible for the facts, then I will give credit towards them. But I'm amazed. I'm mind blown, honestly, at what I've come across in my own time learning. I began to study psychology. I was going to pursue it as a career. As some of you guys know, I was in law school and I was in criminal justice, and I wanted to be a criminal defense attorney. I considered counseling, but my motivation, I realized, for both of those things was honestly to be able to stick out for all of us that were not able to speak ever. Like my rebel, it was developed from having to show respect to people that were talking, in my opinion, so ridiculously that even before 10, I want to say in between 4 years old and 10 years old, I had made a firm and final decision about the elders in my life. I remember going through different experiences and watching the way things were done, handled, and the amount of destruction different events caused our family. And I'm not mad. I try not to be mad. I'm learning how to be more empathetic and understanding, because I'm a mom too now. And there were plenty of days, that I wished that I could have bought more for my kids on their birthday. And there were days when I really had no diapers. I had no milk. I didn't have a car. I didn't know what to do. For years, I lived on TANF, which was like $279 a month. And somehow I managed to make it work. I went to Fred Meyer, which was very expensive. Now, it was the closest store that I had to walk with my baby. And then I had more babies. And next thing you know, I didn't have any room in the cart to put babies. And I remember at one point, I had twins, the second pregnancy, I was not expecting that at all. I had heard they skipped a generation and I was a rebel. So I went to the doctor, and what they called a miracle was horrifying to me because I was 20. And I was in law school and I had just barely gotten in the swing of being a mom to a 2-year-old. And I was going through some very toxic and unhealthy relationships and addictions, and I was maybe 8 or 9 months clean prior to my relapse. But I was into somebody who was in and out of jail, and this person would basically go to jail for 6 to 12 months, and whenever they would be released, I would leave everything that I had worked hard to rebuild, and then I would hook back up with that person. Rihanna, I didn't know, but Rihanna has an addiction to inmates. For me personally, that's my baby's dad, James. He passed away. You guys can check him out on Facebook. His name's James Thomas. He's a great guy. He had so much happiness, joy, potential, and skill, and it was the hardest thing ever to leave him. And I had to move away, and I had to relocate, and I had to do what I had to do because we weren't able to do that together. But I never saw myself going down that route. I was going to be a lawyer. I was a straight A student. I was never on drugs. I judged everybody, and I just said all these things like, they're disgusting. I can't believe they're using drugs. They probably have lice. Don't stand next to them, I'd say to the people at school. I would really hurt people's feelings, and I would disclude them from our groups. I would make a point to be a bully. But at 14, when my sister died, I remember her whole funeral, and the entire auditorium filled up in the school. That's where we held the funeral. Kinsey was a simple girl, and she wasn't worried about her looks or being popular. She was just a true, pure angel. But that day, the whole school was there. It was like I had never, I don't remember, at that time in my life, I had never seen so many people anywhere showing support. And I remember thinking Kinsey was truly beautiful, which was not something I'd ever seen. And it wasn't until I lost my sister that I realized some people are already whatever it is that we're working so hard to learn how to be naturally. And Kinsey was. Sometimes I get worried that when we actually figure it out, and when we are pure, and when we are beautiful, and we have that angelic soul, is that when we go to heaven, because she did. Kinsey was so sweet, and she really carried a lot of weight for the family, and she never complained. And it wasn't until after I lost her that I changed. I apologized, and I am friends with every one of the people in school that I was rude to, and if I haven't apologized to you, and you, like, I would love to do that. I don't know of anybody off the top of my head that I haven't actually reached out to and talked to, and actually been friends with for years now, and I'm just so grateful, honestly, to have all of you guys in my life. And I just want you all to know that had I not went through that, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And no, I can't get a job everywhere. Sometimes people look at my record and they think, oh, she's bad. But if I went back in time and took that off my record just to fit in, I wouldn't have you guys in my life. And I wouldn't get to be here for all of you. And I wouldn't be able to understand how much is actually really going on around us that needs to be addressed. I don't want to be caught up in the 3D. I want to know how you guys feel. I care about you. And I don't have always the mental stability to give you guys my undivided attention. And I know I say the words, and I mean these words, but eventually we're going to have a whole organization set up, you guys, where there will be enough people like me that are going to be here for all of you, and it will be nonprofit, and we will teach every single person out there in this world that does not know what to do, how to make it as far as you're comfortable making it, each and every day, little by little. And pretty soon, you're going to be able to look back and just know that there are good people out there that want to help you for free, because that's what they did to me. I'd never seen it before. I'd never had help for free, but I'll tell you what, Spokane is so sweet. They are so amazing, and they really help me with everything. They help me with rides, diapers, formula. They help me refinance my house. And anytime when I was sad, when I was ashamed, weak, alone, I was able to find some person in Spokane that I'd never met. I told them everything. And they never judged me. They not only said they would be there for me, but they just gracefully handled things in a way that I remember just watching them and admiring them and thinking, this is really happening right now. I'm in a whole new place with great people who truly seem to love each other. My clients, they love life. They've never seen what I've seen before. Those are stories now I keep to myself. I can talk to y'all about it. But just knowing that there's beautiful 85-year-olds out there that have never witnessed anything painful or negative like we have, why would we want them to have to imagine that? We're strong enough to endure and overcome, understand, and teach when necessary. Teach when necessary. If you find yourself just talking about stuff that was real hard on you, and you're not actually doing a class, and it's not educational, it's personal. And you're allowed to have your personal stuff going on. But do keep in mind, when you put that outward, it makes other people feel however it makes you feel inside. And you could say, oh, you wouldn't know. You have no idea what I've went through. Energy spreads. So whatever you feel, that memory, what you feel, you're putting out there, and you're fucking blasting people like a Pikachu fucking Pokemon ball of light, and you're just whamming them. And no, they actually do know exactly what you feel, because your energy is filling up the whole room like fart particles, dude. A gas chamber of fart. So don't be like that. Because it's just like, after a certain point, all that happens is either you lose people in your life that have to walk away because of the negative, or people that were not feeling their best end up sticking around because you're so negative that you make them feel like their problems are really not that fucking bad. So while you think you're the coolest loser over here, or you might be the ringleader or whatever you want to call it, not really. You just make everybody in this whole room feel as if they fit in. You don't judge them. You don't push them. You don't question them. You're not confronting them. You're not expecting more from them. So think about it like that, because like I had to. I already knew that. I said, damn, dude, I do not want to be the coolest loser anymore. I'm not being motivated. I'm not motivated at all. And I wasn't able to stop actually seeing shit for the truth, which is a bunch of losers. Literally just what? Fucking each other over, screwing each other's people, lying, smiling. Hey, Martha! She's such a stupid. No. Bye, bitch. Don't come over to my house. I don't drink wine. I'm taking shots myself. And I'll fight a bitch. Easy, no problem. And I would just not like it. If you ever wanted to hang out, I don't want to. I don't want to hang out with people that actually, that haven't actually basically elevated to the part of themselves where they are okay with difference. I don't want to be around people that don't get that the entire fucking world is made up of all different stuff. I don't need to explain any longer to people that are not where we are. We've elevated. We are 5D. We're in the king and queen. We've been explaining, dealing with, dating, waiting for nights and pages. And if that's what you want to continue to do, you're more than welcome to stay wherever you like. But the door is now officially being closed, and that was the last week. This last week was the very last week that any of you guys will be actually the same person that you were the week before. Even if you chose to stay where you are and you did not feel that you had the strength to let whatever person or toxic trait or habit go, you will still be a different person, because every person that you used to look up to, they just left. They graduated. They're not going to just not go to college because you didn't want to leave your hometown. So that's kind of the vibe, is that basically, it's time to get those letters in the mail, and you're going to open them up and you're going to see, did you get accepted or not? Did you pass? Did you universally pass? So much bigger than the 5D, who you're the 3D. Some of y'all, some people, they still on the 3D. They over here worrying if they're going to be cool or not, or maybe if they're going to get a hot girl or a nice car. And some of us, we just don't care about all that. We may have a nice car. Shit, some of us might even want it. But overall, we want literal, world peace and love. Probably for somebody very special and important to us. I know my mom. I just want her to be comfortable and well taken care of, and I want to furnish her house, and I want to hook her up, and I want to treat her like a queen, dude, for her last chapter. I'd really like to see the last 20 years of my mom, just me spoiling her. So some of us have other ideas and other things that we have on our mind, and we've been working real fucking hard to get there, and basically we've just been carrying a lot of extra dead weight, and so that's being removed today. You guys can take your backpacks off, and for those of you who are not willing to take it off, if you feel like that's more of a security thing for you, and you would rather have it, then you're more than welcome to keep it on. But the trail is getting really steep, and the weight, it's gonna hold you back. Picture Mount Everest. Right now you're going to be crossing over some real steep and slick pieces of ice and open gashes of land, and some of you guys, you're not willing to remove what you need to get across safely, and so you're just saying, well, I don't want to leave this behind, so I'll see you guys later. I'll see you back at the camp spot. And we're like, okay, we love you. Well, in the movies, it's going to be like one of those goodbyes where you fucking never seen him again. And I know what's happening, and now you do too. But hopefully you realize that in that moment. So every time you're yelling goodbye at somebody, do pay very extra close attention and see, does this feel like that reading we were talking about by chance? Because I don't know, man. It sounds like some of us are going to say an actual final goodbye. I don't know if that means afterlife goodbye, or if it just means elevation goodbye. But do be paying attention to who you say goodbye to, and being kind and being sweet, and just cherishing every moment that you have with yourself and with the people around you, because we're all just have to take responsibility for what we need to do. And then when we don't do that, we're saying somebody else can do our work. That's not being kind and considerate. The person who's sweet, that does the extra work, maybe they don't have love. Maybe they don't have a girlfriend. Maybe they have a health issue that they don't talk about. You might think, oh, they don't have shit going on, they can do it. Maybe their parent is dying. Maybe they fucking struggle with PTSD, abandonment. Maybe they were adopted and they don't understand why. I mean, nobody is perfect. Everybody's struggling, you guys, so pick up your own slack and carry your own weight, and relieve and release whatever does not serve you in a positive way. Quit complaining as an adult. From now on, guys, on my channel, if you hear somebody bitching and complaining as an adult, you just gotta know they are not, that is somebody that you're gonna now place here. We're not saying goodbye. We're just saying you need to go back to the classroom. You're still a blamer. You're still upset. You're not over the person that you're complaining about. It looks like you still have trauma, PTSD, open wounds. And so, yes, I'm here for you to a degree, but I actually have to do this over here now. You got promoted. You're a manager. So you have other classes to tend to. And just because you have a needy disobedient student that wants to doink, and you're like, what are you doing out of the classroom, Marco? Back in there. That's all you're doing. You're not saying goodbye, but now you're a leader. So you just went from the classroom and you're now, supervisor. So if you want to be a supervisor that people can walk around and do whatever they want, you're like, what did you do about it, bro? Because this is king, queen, heading to emperor, empress, and so basically you're being challenged right now. Can you rule the people? Can you keep them organized? Do you know what's best for them in a pure way, genuine way? Like you're thinking about the bigger picture for all's best interest. It's not like, oh, how can I benefit from this? That shit's not what we do on my fucking channel. That's narcissistic shit, bro. We don't fucking do shit in a way where only one person benefits. Even if you want to come up on something, trade. You're a fucking shaman now. Barter, bitch. Anyways, yeah. So, anyways, you're organizing everybody in a classroom. So, if you have somebody over here that's still wounded from relationship stuff, put them over here. If you got somebody who's struggling with addiction, they go over here. Maybe parent stuff, you know, over here. Do they have like an actual mental thing? Because if they do, they need to go get a psych eval and they could possibly need some medicine. So also keep in mind, who are you putting on medicine? Pill poppers, I don't think should be on pills to get better. I'm not taking any medications personally, and I've done a lot of drugs. I've been partying since I was 14, and I'm 36, so more than half my life. And it does actually deteriorate the brain every single time, so my brain is fucked. I choose not to use pills because I want to be myself. And even if, you know, my true self has been slightly affected or altered, then that's still who I am. And I trust in that person, and I love this person. I am an addict, and I don't want to pick up pills or downers, and I just, you know, I got addictive thinking, and so I just choose to smoke weed, and I take some shots. But weed's been my thing. But do whatever you feel like you need to do. But honestly, like if you have an addict mind, or if you actually are somebody who's already into pills or downers, heroin, fentanyl, like no. I don't support you going and taking a pill to get better. That's actually the last thing that you're supposed to do in recovery. You're supposed to actually not do things that remind you of what the fuck you used to do. So there's zero smart anything when it comes to giving a fucking pill popper another pill to get better. That's stupid ass shit. Like, in my opinion, it's complete governmental population control, and it's money. That in treatment, it tells you never use or hang out with things that are triggers for you. So why would you literally give a pill popper a pill to get better? Fucking idiots. So that's why we've come into this. That's why we're here today, guys, is because we are starting our own nonprofit organization. We're actual criminals and people who have full-blown legit experience in all these areas. We're going to be here for you. We've already purchased, we have 3 different pieces of land, and we have layouts and crafts all drawn up, and we're going to be building cabins and shelters, and we will be building just amazing stuff. You know, we have a lot of great ideas. We have forests, land where we're going to do fruit trees and agriculture and farming and cabins, and then we have this land in the city with 2 lots here. So if you're somebody who would prefer more of a city setting, we have that as well. And we're just going to continue to do this research here and be there for you guys, like, for free. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you, okay? I'm not always nice, like I'm kind of a bitch, but I mean well. And if you need anything, or if you have anything that's bothering you, just hit me up, babe. Make a fake account. I don't care. If you're embarrassed and you don't want me to know it's you, just make a fucking fake account and just message me. I don't have to accept your friend's request to get a private message. So you can just private message me and say, hey, I'm one of your followers. I made this fake account so I can conceal, you know, my true identity. But this shit's been going on, man, and it's really been really fucking bothering me. You know, that's where we begin. That's where we begin. And your stuff is safe with me. And I'm happy to share anything that is comparable with you because I've been there too. And, I never thought I would be. I thought you guys were just absolute pieces of shit, just like what we hear everybody say now about us too. So I'm going to teach everybody, both sides of the fence, how it feels to be a straight A student that goes into addiction, and how it is to overcome addiction and become a corporate leader, a teacher, and now teaching people of our kind, of both kinds, how to understand another. Once we can understand that everybody is unique and beautiful and different and plays their own part, then the whole world will begin to turn like a proper working clock. But until then, it's everybody's offbeat and nobody knows what time it is anymore. Everybody's just saying, this is what time it is. This is what time it is. This is what time it is. Wouldn't it be crazy if we could just have like this whole world dinner assembly thingy? I would just love it if we could all just get together and start a committee with people where it's not about government stuff. We could start a committee where we have one from each country and we can all be part of our own group, and we can start making healthy plans for unity, plans for healing, plans for equality. It seems like the people who are in charge of this world are so focused on money and power and control that unfortunately I'd say 70% or more of the population actually believes in. I wish that they would all just go on a march and run away like Forrest Gump and leave the land. Because we would do so much better. That was rude. We would do so much better if the loud people would quiet it down and let, honestly, the people who have proven results already on the streets put some strategies to action. I don't see why in the hell people that have been successful dealers or gang leaders or basically just illegal organizers, why wouldn't we be able to participate in anything that has to do with protecting our world? We're different. We protect differently. We understand things that you don't. So when basically like ISIS would be on the way, we would actually be able to understand his mindset. We would know his moves. You guys don't have a clue how criminals think or why they do the weird shit that they do. You're just like, I don't know why somebody would light that on fire last night. Well, they like to see shit burn. They are an arsonist. The flame in the eye, it's just something in the heart that you can't describe. Like, you can't understand what you are not. And you can't fit in where you don't belong either. So just go to your square. You know where you are. Are you the leader? Do you need help here, 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 here? But what we're not going to do anymore is actually be helped by anybody that doesn't actually have experience in the area. And I'm not talking textbook. I'm talking real shit deal. So, textbook people, move aside. We're basically taking over.